Hello, and welcome to That's So Nova. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be doing a new pattern from Oro Rosa Patterns called Willow Woven Tote. Say that 3 times in a row, Shinova. I don't think I could. This pattern is super adorable, and it's something different and fresh that Alexis brought to her collection. This pattern is not like any other tote out there. It deals with a woven strap design that we're going to go over, and it is very unique. Let me show you. When I'm talking about woven in strap to design, we're going to be weaving in straps, details through the bag to give it this very lush, gorge, and very rich design. I haven't seen a bag of its like out there in the pattern market, and it's just so beautiful. Not to mention that it's not only beautiful on the outside, but Alexis makes sure that the inside counts. We have a nice recessed zipper, and she never forgets the pockets. Look at how it sits in the inside. There's no baggy inside. You have 2 beautiful slip pockets, 2 zipper pockets, and a huge compartment to put numerous things. This bag is perfect, and all the little details are amazing, and I'm going to help you walk through it. So when you do this bag, I need you to first and foremost start and read through all. Just ignore that. I'm sorry. Just ignore that. I just drop things occasionally. If it wasn't to be a video of Shinova, if I don't occasionally knock something down. You need to read through all of the prep prep work. There's going to be a lot in the cutting directions. The cut chart is 2 pages. It's not a lot like you think you're going to be there all day cutting. No, they're just basic straight pieces like handles, trim, and whatnot. Now, I cannot express this to you most. Alexis gives you tabs for your cutting. Just put the little labels with each piece, and the rest will be cakewalk. She's going to take you over to each figure and tell you where to top stitch and how to top stitch. Once you get down to the top stitching part, you're going to be making sure that most of the stuff is in your prep. Once your prep is done, which is, it's not a whole lot of prep, I promise you. You're going to then make your packs. Now, remember, if you've been with my channel a lot and you know we love us some Oro Rosa, we have almost did every Oro Rosa pattern in here. We do the prep bags. The pattern bags help break down Oro Rosa patterns like so easily. And it also helps you, because if you decide to just do 3 packs today, 3 packs tomorrow, then you can just follow along with this tutorial and it'll make things easier. So we're going to do pack 1 has the handles. The pack 2 and 3 are basically the same exact pack. This is going to be the front panels of your bag. Pack 4 is going to be the sides of your bag. Pack 5 is going to be the zipper panels of your bag. Pack 6 and 7 again are repeat panels, and they're going to be the interior of your bag. Okay, it looks like a lot, but it's not. She broke it down very easily so that we can just work this all out together. And as I put this back onto the table where there's rulers and stuff, I'm pretty sure things are going to get knocked down again. All right, so let's get pack 1. We're going to work on the handles. We were supposed to prep that pack in there, but just in case you did not decide to prep and do it, I'm going to sew up 1 just to show you how to do it. It's like any other strap. You're going to put double-sided tape down the middle, or you can put 1/8 of an inch down each center line. You're going to leave a 1/8 of an inch gap. And we're on page 26 if you're following along. And we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch down both sides. Now this is all a part of your prep work. And is explained in great detail. Most of your prep work is 1/8 of an inch down both one side, except one set of straps, and I'll show you those set when we get over there. But if you read through each section, it's in great detail, tells you. And if you're doing this bag, you most likely have done other bags where you're fully aware of, you know, you got to top stitch that 1/8 of an inch, not only for you know, the look of it, but just to keep the straps together. Okay, we're going to bring over our pack and everything to this table. We are going to get our swivel hooks. And we're going to get our rivets. And we're going to fold this over on one side by 1.5 inches. And we're going to measure it up by 5/8 of an inch. And then punch a hole. And what I like to do is after I punch a hole, I like to take this off and just bring it over to the other side and just punch the same holes. So that way I'm not having to remeasure. Okay. Get 2 caps. And 2 stems, and I'm going to feed the strap in, the strap swivel hook. Make sure they're going in the same direction. And you could put strap ins on this if you don't have strap ins. Like I unfortunately don't have any silver ones. I might order some from Wawa. And make sure that see how my my rivets are nice and flush. You don't want them hanging out too big, or your rivets cannot set properly. You don't want that. And I'm going to set them. And that is my handbag one. And for my crossbody one, and you don't have to do both. You could do one or another. It's really up to you. For your crossbody one, we're going to do one side, the same method. We're going to slide we measure up 1.5 inches. We get 2 stems and 2 caps. Okay, just going to make sure this is nice and straight. And then I'm going to get my slider, feed this through. And I'm going to make sure this has a big loop like this. Then I'm going to feed my connector through. And then feed this through again. So it's kind of looking like this. And then I'm going to measure this 1.5 inches. And put my rivet in there and just set them. I could feel an audible press at least 2 times, and I now have a very cool adjustable strap. And there's my puppies. It's not a puppy show until they start growling. Now we're going to take this and go back over to the sewing table and start getting our progress working. It's okay, puppies. Roxy, it's okay. All right. So, got to give it to Alexis. She has me doing the one thing I absolutely am afraid of, and that is a staple. I'm using a stapler. I know. If you're a longtime fan of this channel, you know how I feel about staplers. Okay. All right. So, we're going to get pattern piece A. And you're going to get your intervertical trim. And see how you keep your labels with you? It helps out tremendously. Okay? And the internal vertical trim are the ones that are open, are the only ones that are not sewn 1/8 of an inch on both sides. They're the ones that are opened up. You're going to sorry, I think I have a marker on here. You're going to put them hanging. You're going to clip them in place where the openings are towards the edge. And I'm just going to trim off my excess shape flex. Okay. We're going to then take off our clips and staple at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. You want to make sure these are exactly 8 inches. If they're not, trim them down to be. I'm going to just get my marker, my silver marker, I just need to trim it off like a 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Once you do that, you want to retrieve your skinny vertical strap. Skinny horizontal strap, I'm sorry. And you want to put this exactly at the 4-inch mark. So what I did at the last time what I did is I measured exactly at 4 inches. Exactly. I know this sounds weird. I made a little silver mark. Having exact measurements helps me out tremendously. So I'm just putting a little mark there. And then when you do this, you want to make sure that you're putting the side that is open. So the edge that is the wrong side that is open needs to be up. And it helps because then you can see the center of the wrong side. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to get our skinny vertical edge. And we're going to make another mark. We're going to mark a 1/2 inch away from these two pieces right here on each side. And then you want to find your center. So I'm going to just make a mark. All right. Again, for these pieces, you want to do the wrong side. So the side that has the gap opening. So I'm going to take this. Of course, my dogs want to growl nonstop. Roxy, you're okay. And then you're... Roxy, you're okay. Sorry, guys. She's a little older. She just... Every time I film, it seems like she goes at it. I apologize. I'm so sorry. So we're just going to put them right at the side. All right. So you want it a 1/2 inch away, so I made a mark and I just put it on the other side of the 1/2 inch so they're perfectly away. All right, so then she wants you to staple them. So I'm just going to do it barely at 1/8 of an inch. All right. All right. So then we're going to get the top piece. So not the bottom trim. Come on over. You need to get the top trim. And what I like to do here right away is find the center. So we could just match the center bar with the center bar automatically. We're going to place this just like so. So I can just kind of face this part towards you. So I immediately grab this center bar right here and match this center part here. And I know at first you're like, why are we working with the wrong sides? It all makes sense in a minute. Okay, then we're going to take this and match that center. And if you want, you could just put a clip there. And then we're just going to make a 1/2 inch mark. We're just repeating what we did here. And then we're going to put a clip here. And put a 1/2 inch mark here. And then we'll put a clip here. All right. Perfect. Then we're going to sew those down. Just using a 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to go across. Okay. Just going to move the stapler here. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to sew this down. Just try not to sew over the staples. You can remove them as you go. Just gonna removing these staples. I know they're staple removers. I just always thought it's always easier for me to remove them with hemostats. All right. And then I'm going to just put, like, stitch this down too. And again, if you have the marks, you can be kind of more sure with your placements because you can just match the center of the piece with the center of the marking. I didn't know that the first time to do that, so I'm giving you when I thought about it after I made it, I was like, just put marks, little 1/8 of an inch marks, and it'll help you tremendously. All right. All right, so we have that, okay? So we're going to grab our wide vertical strappings. And we want to put them on this part, and we want to, again, make sure we have the wrong sides. And we want to stick them in the middle of these two skinny strappings. And then you just want to baste those pieces too. All right. All right. So we're going to want to now flip this over, and we're going to want to put double-sided tape on both sides because we're going to want to fold this over by 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to draw my fold over part so I can fold it over neatly at 3/8 of an inch on both sides, and then I'll put my double-sided tape. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape. So you're folding it over 3/8 of an inch. And you're folding over a lot of bulk. So you want to make sure you got some really good double-sided sticky tape. I'm using the one from Wawak, the Hyper Stick. All right. So the first one, I'm just going to kind of move all this stuff out of the way, and I'm just going to fold it over to that line. And if you made all your correct... My dogs do the most when I'm on. They're in the vent right above my head, and I can hear like the toys going back and forth on it. I'm going to fold it. If you made all the correct placements during the fusing, it should just fold over pretty easily. I'm just going to make it nice and crisp like we ironed it, but we didn't. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. That is, I'm in the basement. That squeaky sound is my dogs in the vent. Yep. So we're going to do that same thing. We're going to fold this over to this line, get it nice and sticky, and then we're going to seam roll it. All right. We're going to now top stitch this part. This is the top all the way around. Now when we go to top stitch this bottom, we want the floaty ones completely out of the way. Completely. So back stitch. And this one could be a little bit of a shock because you're going through like 4 layers to 4 layers to. So make sure that this is not like this. This is not like anything. They're just flopped out of the way. Look at figure 100 and just make sure that your pattern is resembling that, okay? Okay, then we're going to make sure the wide vertical straps are they won't lay flat. If you try to lay them flat, you're going to see that they're not flat. So you're going to need to kind of clip them, and then you're going to you're going to put them in place. And as you can see, when you put, they're not going to lay flat. There's going to be some kind of bump, and you want that for the next following steps. Trust me. So then we're going to kind of stitch these and base these in place. But make sure you're paying attention. These do not go underneath anything. I did this and I had to do a correction. And believe me, there's always room where you can correct, but it wasn't fun. You'll see, I don't know how I keep dropping this tin. You'll see that these are above everything right here. So they will get what weaved into something, but just not at this moment. All right. So you're going to do this with the other side, and then we are going to grab the final piece for this pack, and we're going to grab the bottom trim. All right, for the bottom trim, we're going to sew it at 3/8 of an inch. And again, you're going through multiple layers, so just take your time. If you are on a domestic or semi-domestic, you might want to get a hump jumper. It's cool. Knowing the limits and the what can make your machine more smoothly is awesome. So we're going to trim the bottom trim only, not the material. So we're going to trim this down to 1/8 of an inch. So I am not trying to be unprofessional, but if you could, all the noise Logie is making is just extra. So I'm just going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. Back stitch. Okay. And you just want to, we're going to be trimming the sides. I love the fact that she teaches this, because when you do this, it can just make sewing a little bit more easier in some areas. We're not like snipping into major things. You're just trying to make bulk reduction, and it does help tremendously. All right, so we're going to grab the other side, and we're going to add, so you made one, I made the other one off camera, so that we're not repeating the same process, and the video is not 17 hours and you're like, Shanova, and I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. Three-eighths of an inch. Okay, we're just trimming that bottom layer, not the area where the weaves are and the and now I think my neighbor's doing something in their basement. It just you just can't win sometimes. And see, when you fold it over, it folds this part over, so that's why it's catching everything. The way you trim is so imperative in this particular bag, because it just lays everything down nice and neat. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go in here, kind of trim some of these angle corners just to help when we start doing the construction of the exterior, that everything runs a little bit smoother. And even if you have an industrial, do this, because just because you can sew over bulk doesn't mean you should. It doesn't look cute. Trust me on that. It does not look cute. That's like, no. So we did that all over again, and we did this on the other side. Now, Alexis does this thing. I've seen in a lot of her patterns. I wanted to try with you because I forgot to do it in my other one. She doesn't show it on here. She puts her, if I misplace, okay, she puts her, so this is the bottom. She puts her, all right, so I think she puts her metal tag on this part, either on this part, or she puts it on the, she puts it on the top either here, or she puts it on the bottom here. So I just have to remember when we do this when we put together the bag, to put this on here so that to see. But if you're going to do a handmade tag, like a sew-in one, right here is like right underneath where we just top stitch might be the ultimate area to do it. So like right here might be a great place to put a metal tag as well, because it'll be right at the edge. No one will see. I might actually put that there, so I'm not forgetting, because I am the worst person for tags. Like you'll be like, Chanel, we'll put a tag there, and I'm like, okay, and then I forget. But I'll put like a paper tag anywhere. So I just wanted to say that because I didn't see where to put your tag. But if you look at some of the people in the training group or whatever, you'll see them. But my first bag does not have a name tag. And that's not because I didn't know where to put it. I'm just notoriously bad at putting them places. So I don't really use my metal ones that often. I really like the sew-in ones. The sew-in ones I get it from Heartwood and Hide, which I need to put another order in. The metal ones I got from Alibaba, and I got like 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't remember the vendor. Okay, so we have a metal tag. So we're going to put this aside for right now, and we're going to start working aside, and we're going to start working on the sides. Okay. All right. So on the sides, we have this piece and this piece we're working on for the beginning. So on the side, you want to make sure you put double-sided tape. And I'm going to wipe the glue off, because that machine went through a lot of glue. You're going to put double-sided tape, and then you kind of want to press the glue down with the roller. And then I like to kind of find moment. All right, sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to find my center on my main side and on this side, so that way I can match them up. You're going to take your side detail and you're going to cut in snips. This is because we're going to take this double-sided tape off and we're going to mold these pieces down against the Decaville light that we put in for our stabilizer. So you're just going to fill where the Decaville light is, and you're just going to press your pieces. And once you have that one side down, you're just going to kind of seam roll it, so it's, you know, that's our version of pressing. You're gonna do it again on the other side. You can start from the center, the top, wherever you feel fit. Okay. All right, and then from here, we're gonna top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, gonna grab, you can grab a not a Sharpie, a marker or a white, white pen, something that you can easily remove. And we're gonna make some marks. We're gonna make a mark that is 3 3/4 of an inch up. And then from there, 2 inches, and then 2, and then 2. Okay, on the back, we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do it in pencil. 3 3/4, then 2, then 2, and then 2. Now, on page 40, we're going to X the first box and the third box. And we're kind of doing the same on the other. On the back, where the X's are, we're just going to put some double-sided tape. And then some double-sided tape after we thread our connector, your D-ring, your rectangle ring, your triangle ring, whatever you have available, down to that 2. So I'm going to and then put just a smidge of tape down. All right. So I'm just going to remove this tape. And I'm going to kind of line up those V's, those notches first, and just lay it down. Just press. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go up and around and down for the first X, and then go across, up and around for the second X. And we're going to pull out threads, pull threads to the back and tie them off. We're going to go 1/8 of an inch away from the mark, the initial stitching that we did earlier. We actually probably could have did back stitching on this because no one's going to see the back ends of this, but for and if you don't want to do back, if you want to back stitch, do back stitching. There's no rule saying that you can or can't. I for one, I love back stitching. Like, maybe because I'm a lazy tieist. I don't know. I think I also feel more secure with back stitching than I am with my own tying knots, but that's just me. All right, so we're going to do this again in that other area that we drew an X. All right. So for this one, I am going to back stitch because this is encasing this part, and I just feel like this area gets a lot of tension, and I just believe that any area that's going to be holding your D-ring or whatever, you just need as much reinforcement as you possibly can. And I just don't trust my knots as well. And I didn't pull the double-sided tape off of this. So that you can pull your stitches to the back on this if you want, or you be like me and be like, no, I'm good. All right, then we're going to put some fray check. All right, from here we're going to put a rivet Okay, and we're going to go over to the machine and do that real quick. You need a stem and a cap. Okay. All right, let's get down to the fun of it. We're going to start constructing the bag. All right, I'm not going to be using staples for this part. I'm a big clipper on this part. So what I do is I'll find my center and I'll mark it, and I'll do the same on the other side. And I already have my center on each one of my sides because I drew that little clip. And I forgot to, we're going to be folding this down 3/8 of an inch. Let me draw my mark now. So that way I don't have to worry about it later, because I don't know about you, but when I have to eyeball tape measurements, like when we do a drop-in lining, your girl struggles. I will struggle hard. And sometimes if you draw the lines ahead of time, you can match them up too. It just makes your life a little bit easier. And everything fits really nicely if you did all the measurements. Okay, drop something else. I mean, maybe dropping things equals like my good luck in sewing, and that I shouldn't take it for granted. All right. All right, so we're going to sew this with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, back stitch the beginning and the end. And if it's easier for you, use like a stiletto, an awl, whatever is easier for you to help navigate. Sorry, I'm just moving things out of the way so that way I don't just like knock everything down. And remember, just be patient with your machine. You're going through different layers of material like every ½ inch. And if one area is pulling or tugging, get a pair of hemostats. Pull the opposite direction. You'll be good. All right, one down, just one more to go. And then we have like some snipping to do with it. And we're almost done with the exterior. Not that bad, right? You're gonna be like wearing the most unique bag of the season. You're gonna be like, I made this. Yes. I wonder what this would be like. I have an idea. This part's interesting. Granted, it's really interesting, but not the most interesting part of the bag. When we get to the inside of the bag and how it covers up the holes, the weaving, so you don't see the bag is not being see-through. I have this idea with fur, but I didn't do it because I was doing other stuff for the Halloween season. But I will leave this to you, gentle readers, to see which one of you will do it. But I have this thing with like faux fur poking out of the weave that I think would be so on brand for Uggs, but it would be cooler if one of us did it. I'm always thinking of different things. And I think having like faux fur, like faux Sherpa coming out would be so extraordinary. All right, so we're gonna do this again. 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Trying to make sure the raw edges meet the raw edges and it doesn't overlap weirdly. See. Okay. Okay. All right. So once we do this, we're going to leave 3/8 of an inch up above, and we're going to trim the rest down to 1/8 of an inch in this area. Okay, so we're going to do that. So just leave about 3/8 of an inch. You can measure it or you can eyeball it, your discretion. Let me back stitch over this area a little better. I hate when I think I back stitched over the top of it, but I didn't. But if you catch it early enough like this, then you're good. Okay, we got all those. And then we're going to trim around the curve from like this point where before the weaving area comes down to about 1/8 of an inch. And I just like to, because it is a curve for me, I'm just going to pink. I think it sits a little nicer. Just be very, very careful. Okay. And let's do it to the other side. I'm using Kai scissors. I had these for about four or 5 years, and I really like them. Not as much as my LDH, but I do like them. My LDH is just, sometimes it's hard to locate them. I got them in this iridescent color so I can find them all the time. But so much in my room is rainbow that I continuously forget where they are. All right, so now we want to also now put double-sided tape around the top, the brim, so we can fold over. So I'm going to open one side and just start butterflying them open and just laying this down. And I'm not the most coordinated person, so bear with me. All right, and then we're going to turn this right sides out. All right, see, oh, it's looking so cute. Okay, so we have some stuff to do. We need to go over to the workbench. All right, I'm going to grab some rivets. We need to kind of put a hole, and rivet this down in all 4 places. So we're going to need 8 rivets. Okay. They'll be concealed in the next step that we do. Okay. And just try to center them as best as you can. And just kind of pull this in and make sure your seam allowance is going towards the back. Don't have it accidentally curled up. I'm just going to move those over here. They'll be covered up by the straps that are going to be going across. But this gives it stability and strength. And you won't see. Just like look at this and just try to center, because that's where the strap's going to be hidden in between. So you're like eyeballing it from there. And it's going to be hidden from here. We have one more section. Okay, so we're just going to use small rivets, and I'm just going to work in twos. I'm going to set them after I put them in so that I don't accidentally not set a set. It's easy when you have like so many where you may have accidentally forgot not to set a set, and okay, let's see. This is the last set. And then we're gonna start have some fun putting some basket weaving kind of techniques in here. And then we'll be working on the inside. We're almost halfway through the bag, guys. You're doing a really good job. We're actually more than halfway. Okay, so how we're going to do the weft, we're going to sorry about that. We're going to take the wide strap and we're going to feed it through. We're going to feed it through like you see this bottom one. You're going to have two ends that we're going to have to butt up and close. We're going to take it from one of the strap connector, the strap things. When we made the side, we had left two opening slots. One is for the bottom, and these are to conceal the rivets that we just placed in here. So we're going to take it from one side, and if you're like me and you're like, hey, I can't get it, you can just grab a pair of hemostats or a pair of tweezers and just, and my hemostats don't want to work right now, pull it through, and you're going to go under, over, under, over. You're kind of just doing that same pattern. You're going to bring it through the other side. You're doing the same thing. Under, over, under, and then we're going to butt these two sides together. You can take a piece of tape. I'm going to use some electrical tape real quick. And just put them matching side by side, like they're side by side. They're not going to be, but they're butting up to each other. They're not overlapping. Oops. And I'm just going to do a couple of zigzag stitch or straight stitches going like across. And I'm going to pull this strap tight. It's not going to hurt the bag. And I'm just going to go back and forth, kind of making an X motion, back stitching a couple times, you know, so they can stay connected. Just a couple of stitches. It's not, no one's going to see these. They're going to be hidden within that cavity on the side. And then we're going to put some double-sided tape so it could stay there. See, just nothing too, like, nothing too big. And then as more clips go falling, I'm going to grab some double-sided tape. I'm just going to put that on this side real quick. And I'm just going to press it, and then I'm just going to kind of, if this is too much and it's going to show, I'm just going to my electrical tape was too wide. Hold on. There we go. So I'm going to press that double-sided tape and try to get desperately this electrical tape off me. And we have our very cute bag. And now we're going to start on the inside of our bag and get this party started. You're going to grab your zippered placket, and you're going to take the double-sided tape that you put on there from prep, and you're going to remove it and have it go around the stabilizer, and you're kind of going to just fold it in half. I know desperately in this next part you're going to want to put double-sided tape, but believe me, don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't believe me, just read a little bit ahead. You're just going to put some clips right here. Okay? Then you're going to take your zipper tape, and you're going to fold them at a 90-degree angle. You're going to have one going one side and one going the other side. Alexis is really into this right now fire thing. So I'm going to show you this. Once you fold it in a 90-degree angle, and all you have to do is take your zipper tape and just bend it at a 90-degree angle and take that fold and let it go naturally. You're going to put a pin in there, and I'm going to put a pin better in there. It takes a while for me to get the pin trick. You can, if you want to, base this on your machine and or by hand. She takes a lighter and she kind of singes this on one side, and you just put it on your fingers. Remember that part in Frodo, not Frodo, in Lords of the Ring, when he takes the fire and he puts the ring on fire, in the fire to see if the Elvish is there, and he's like, let me see your hand, and he's like, it's quite cool. It is quite cool. You're not going to send your hand off with it. So I was just trying to give you some hope. So we're going to then place this in here. You're going to sandwich it in here, and then you're going to clip it. And I know you're like, Shnovel, just let me use some double-sided tape, 1/8 of an inch is calling my name. Don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me. You'll appreciate it after we sew this 3/8 of an inch down. You'll understand. I promise. So we're going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. When I did it this way, I felt like so good, because I remember we used to do this all the time before double-sided tape, and the way this placket worked out, I really liked. I remember the end results, and I liked it a lot. I didn't get all the way to the end, so let me just bring this back to the machine and get all the way to the bottom. I hate when I do that, like where I think I got to the bottom, but somehow I didn't. It's okay. It's okay. If that happens to you, just do a couple stitches. Nobody has to know. I won't tell anybody. Shh. Okay, so we're going to trim all the way around, except we're not trimming the zipper tape, of course. Just the exterior fabric to 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If you have duckbill scissors, this is where they shine. If not, do what I'm doing. I'm kind of just trimming on a slant, on an angle, like at a 90-degree angle, or is it 45 degrees? No one's looking really. No one's here to judge. Just at an angle. Okay. Then you're going to pop this through. Look at how nice that is. It's so crisp and so clean. And we're going to use these hemostats and poke this out a little bit more. Ooh, that looks nice and crisp. And we're going to top stitch this down across and up at 1/8 of an inch. And fun fact, if you're doing exactly 1/8 of an inch, your zipper teeth will hit 3/8 of an inch. Just weird. It's a weird fact that I just notice every time. Okay, we're going to mark the center. All right, so you do that to the other side as well. We're going to start working on our interiors. All right. We're almost there, guys, I promise you. So, we have our lining fabric, our exteriors, our zipper panels. All right. Our zipper teeth. All right. All right. I'm going to find my center on my zipper. I always love how her pockets come together because it just, like, they come together kind of effortlessly, and then when they come together, you're like, yeah, I did that. I'm just singeing. Okay, so this is where I will put some double-sided tape, 1/8 of an inch, because I'm working with ripstop and it's very lightweight. So I just want to make sure when I'm sewing this, I'm going to sew it with something more substantial than zipper tape. So that way my machine doesn't like bunch it up. So it doesn't even want to, 1/8 of an inch of tape doesn't even want to stick to it. But I don't know, when I'm doing pockets, then for the lining, I love using something lightweight. So I'm just going to center my zipper tape onto here, and then you want to put your pocket, the zipper front pocket on here. If it's a directional, please pay attention to figure 199. And then we're going to sew this at a 3/8 of an inch. Back stitching. You don't really have to put double-sided tape there. You could have did it with clips too. I was just being lazy. Then we're going to tug this in place. And we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Then we're going to take this and we're going to bring this up, and I'm just going to kind of clip this in place. And we're going to bring we're gonna bring the retrieving the backing. Now, if it's directional, you want to pay attention to figure 206, and you want the direction to go on the bottom. I have a toss print, so I'm pretty good. I'm going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch. And I just brought the lining pocket to meet so we can have a pocket in the inside. Okay. Now, what I like about this is she does this always. So she's going to take the seam allowance that you just got from the lining and from this top directional, and she's going to flip the top directional down. And she's going to use that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, which is the ripstop, the zipper tape, and this. And we are going to make a kind of, I always want to say a shelf. I know it's not a shelf, but like, we're making like where you can tell it's a slip pocket. And we're going to make sure it's nice and taut against that. Now, your ledge or shelf or whatever you want to call it is going to be nice and crisp. You want it nice and crisp against it. So it's going to vary. If you have thicker material, it's going to be a 1/2 inch. If you have thinner material, it could be 1/4 of an inch. It just all varies. So you're going to want to have a 1/8 of an inch line, and then at the top and at the bottom. And if you don't want a 1/8 of an inch line at the top and the bottom, and you just want 1 inch line, I mean, just one line, then do just one line. There's really no rules, except the ones you create for yourself. All right. So we're going to move all this stuff out of the way, and we're going to lay this flat where the zipper, we're going to want to just lay this flat where the zipper's not like bowed out. So you want this ledge to be here, and we're going to sew 3/8 of an inch down each side. And we're not going to touch the zipper tape whatsoever. We're just closing up this pocket. Don't sew up on the zipper tape. You'll be all for naught. And you're cutting this down to 1/8 of an inch. All right, we're gonna go get a zipper pull. And then we're going to get our side panels. We are going to sew these on at 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. Okay, we're going to trim just the side pieces that we just added on, not the zipper pockets. And if you wanted to add a bag tag here, this is a inside those lining, that place when we added it would have been super cute. I added one onto my other side. You'll see shortly. I like the fact that she added, like, you know, the packets and in different steps, like, you know, packet 6 or something is one side and doing the other side is another, because you can just do one package at a day. Like, you know, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You could just take your time and do things at your your own speed. All right. All right, I want to find my center. All right. We're going to baste this into place. All right, then we're going to retrieve our top trim lining and we're going to retrieve our double wall lining. So remember earlier when I was saying what would be a cool thing, the inside of this piece right here where you're seeing the flowers is this part right here, the double wall lining. This is where I said I think it would be cool if someone did it in faux fur because it'll poke through from the inside. I thought would be cool. All right, so the double wall lining. You want to sew this together at 3/8 of the inch. Make sure you take keen notice on figure 222 and 223. We're not sewing where the interface is close into us, and we're sewing where the interface is furthest away. 3/8 of an inch. my bottom's going to be a go now. It sounds like it. We shall see. And we're going to trim our inner wall lining piece, not the top trim piece, down to 1/8 of an inch. Again, have your scissors going at an angle. Okay. We want to fold this down, and we're going to finger press, and we're going to top stitch on the lining 1/8 of an inch. All right. Okay, we're going to trim this stuff on the angle so that way it's easy. All right. Then we're going to match this with the lining piece that we just have. Now, when I first did this, my lining piece and this did not match like at all. They were like 1/4 of an inch shorter, and she said that is fine. Just match your centers. All right. This scooch. All right, we're going to sew this together. This is you're seeing the wrong side of the pocket that we just made, and this is the wrong side of the double wall lining. We're going to sew them together, right sides together, at 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. All right. Okay, so this one, we're going to be trimming this side. This is the reason why I did it. This is a little bit more difficult because there is more bulk. Take your time. Be careful because when there's more bulk, there could be more accidents where you accidentally cut yourself. So just take your time. All right, we're going to be flipping it up like this. This is going to be a little bulky right through here, where in here. So you will see on page 56, she's hammering. There's a hammer, and you can definitely use a mallet or what you can to help reduce the bulk in that area. We're going to be top stitching on the lining because this is what's going to keep the it's going to keep this recessed zipper nice and taut and up and not sinking down. Okay, and we're going to trim and trim angles. All right. We're also then going to run a piece of double-sided tape about 1/8 of an inch away from 1/8 of an inch away from I cannot think right now. We're going to run a 1/8 inch from the bottom panel. So at the, oh, we also need to trim at the bottom panel. I'm sorry. All right, so we need to turn over our main panel, right sides up, and we need to do 1/8 of an inch away double-sided tape. There it is. Okay. Cool. All right, so we trimmed all the areas that we need to trim, and now you have to complete another one. So you need to do all the steps you did before, and you need to have 2 now, okay? So the first thing when you do, when you have 2, is that you need to put right sides together. Make sure, oh, I did one side, not the other. Right sides together, and we're going to sew up the bottom first. I know that was weird for me, but this is what it is. As we're going to do 3/8 of an inch. Okay, then we're going to press the seam allowance open and then sew down both sides of the seam allowance at 1/8 of an inch. I'm just gonna make sure the seam stays open. I see I did a little tag right there. It looks cute. So okay. And there goes more clips. All right. All right. Then we're going to clip up. We're going to clip up and do the sides. We're going to go sew up the side seams. So I'm just going to make sure all my side seams match. That's the most important part to me. Sorry, my curly hair gets in the way. I was just trying to match everything. It's big. Sometimes I just can't control her. I'm just going to have to push my zipper tails out of the way. And it's 3/8 of an inch. sure my zipper tails are completely out of the way. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do some clipping. We're going to clip everything down to 1/8 of an inch, except this where this double-sided tape is. We're going to keep that 3/8 of an inch. Just kind of move this out of the way. This first side. All right. Then we're going to box the corners. Three-eighths of an inch. Let's see. And then we'll trim those down to 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. All right. And then we're going to remove our double-sided tape. Kind of do our wings too at the same time. This part's interesting. Just you're going to be moving this line. It's a little bit tricky. You're going to be reaching from the lining and wrapping this part. It's okay. You're going to be wrapping this part to the double-sided the stabilizer. So you're wrapping this. I know it sounds weird. You're gonna you're like, what, Shova? You're going to open this butterfly, these little seams open, and on one side you're going to be just taking where this lining is, and this is the pocket. This is the main thing. So you're taking the double wall lining and you're wrapping this around. You're trying to get this to go around the stabilizer. Kind of like what we did with the side pockets. It's just weird at first, so you're working inside and out. Just wrapping it around the stabilizer. It feels weird. I know. Just get it wrapped around that stabilizer as best as you can. There's a reason. Because this one becomes the outside. One becomes the inside and one becomes the outside of your bag, so that it's seen through the peekaboos. I think this is the coolest thing. So you just gotta make sure you spread that little wing so the bulk is even, and then you spread it over you spread it over that you spread the wings, and you spread it over that piece of Decaville, so that way you have a nice crisp pocket. You did it, guys. Look at you. You can do a celebration dance in your pants because you did it. So we did it. And look, and it's nice and cool. Now we get to do some fun stuff. What? We're going to put this bad boy together and we're going to be done. We're going to take this and we're going to wrap some double-sided tape. You're like, Shanova, enough with the double-sided tape. No, man, we're just getting this party started. We're going to wrap some double-sided tape. And we're going to top stitch this, and then we're going to put the finishing touches, and we're going to be good to go. I really love this bag. It is so unique, so different. So I'm going to grab our main exterior piece, and I'm going to remove the double-sided tape. And put this to that line. Fold it 3/8 of an inch, because Lord knows if I didn't have that line, your girl's bag would be not cute. Eyeballing is a skill set, okay? It is like top stitching. Everything is a skill set in our things. Just like people that can just draw a straight line or make that magic box with 2 lines for a zipper pocket. Yeah, I can't do that either. I'm not afraid to say what I can't do. So we're gonna grab a seam roller and I'm gonna press this out. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, or areas that we can work upon to get better. Mine is definitely like guesstimations. All right. All right, I'm gonna remove the double-sided tape from here, stick you inside here. You could do a dry fit. But honestly, if you followed all the instructions, I think you got this. I'm just going to kind of match up the sides with the sides. And I'm just going to start clipping this is a really nice bag. The pattern is just so chef's kiss, and she really went above and beyond. This is so next level. And I can just see like little details that you can add to this bag to really just make it just completely yours. I'm so excited. We're going to do top stitching, put the handle on this bad boy, you know, put a zipper, of course. You want to put a zipper because you know that would be weird. All right, we're going to have to top stitch from inside unless you have a free arm or you have a really cool domestic that you can just remove the arm or put a brick over. You can do that. If you're like me, that is like, we've been doing it on the flatbed. We're going to stick to the flatbed. First and foremost, don't do this. This will get you caught up and you will be in trouble. And then you're crying in your bowl of cereal saying, why? So don't do that. So make sure that you have enough bobbin so that way you don't cry in a bowl of cereal, because I would. Second of all, make sure your tension in your bobbin is like really good, because you know. I trust my bobbin tension. I checked it earlier today. Make sure your top is doing good too. Okay, so she has you pulling threads to the back and tying them off, I believe. So, and that's a cutting mat. Okay. Yeah, you could tie them off in between. And use spray check, tie them off. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Again, this bag is really squishy, so have at it. Okay, just slowly turning around the bag to move it in different positions while I'm sewing. All right. All right, so we're going to pull these threads. I have too much double-sided tape in there to pull them in from the center, so they're going to the back. But when I do them, I'll do them not like in the cluster of 4, I'll do them in 2s. So they look like they're just little knots. Because, like, I think she means it like she does her Oro Rosa hand straps, but the double-sided tape is, like, right there. I'm just tying one in the middle, and then... Okay. And then we will grab a zipper pull. If my zipper wants to fit in there. Okay. See how nice that fits in there? And then we will need of course, a zipper end. Goodness gracious, these are very meticulously put in there. Not difficult to get out at all. Just a little bit. All right. And you get your little handle. And you're all done. I absolutely love Willow. She is a cute bag. She comes together really fast-ish. And I think you learn a lot of cool skills. You get to learn how to weave. You get to learn how to put together a very unique bag. I love how you get to, like, it's like two different ways. It's a drop-in lining, but it's also like a false lining here too. And this bag is not just beautiful on the outside. You have a beautiful compartment in the inside where you can have a way where you show very gorgeous fabrics. And it's not like, oh, it's so gorgeous on the outside that it doesn't have something beautiful on the inside. No, you have two slip pockets and zipper pockets and a gorgeous inside that still has clippings in it. But it comes together really cool. And I just think that whoever makes this bag is going to have a beautiful bag on their arm. And even you can one up it. What if you did the handles with like just like a cute chain or whatever? But like there's so many cool ideas that you can go with this. I think Willow is a win, like for sure. I think no matter how you do this bag, it is, I'm bringing like Halloween decorations that I'm trying to put up. I'm trying, like how you do this bag, it's going to be elegant. And I just love how this new technique is now into our world. I can't put another bag that is even similar to it. I really, really love how this comes together. So I hope you enjoyed how this bag came together as well. If you have any questions on any of the techniques, please leave a comment down below. If you would like to see more Oro Rosa patterns, I'll put the playlist information in the description box. And I hope you enjoyed. Comment, just, you know, subscribe, and it would help. If you would like to do a little bit more, like, hey, I want to buy you a coffee, you went through so much, I'll put that information in the comments section too. I'll talk to you later, and I hope everyone has a whimsical day. Bye.